Hi everybody, this is Julissa. Thank you so much everybody for coming back to my channel. Thank you so much to everybody who's listening in the podcast. Today is Thursday, October 3rd, 2024. I wanted to come here guys and speak about this, but before I continue, I want to say thank you so much to everybody who's listening in the podcast, especially everybody who follows me on Spotify. Please, if you listen to this podcast through Spotify, please follow me. Also, you can follow me on Apple Podcasts and every other platform that you use to listen to the podcast. And thank you, of course, to all the YouTube subscribers. Just a quick announcement. A way that you can help me is through joining my membership that I am offering via YouTube and also through Spotify. Here we are, guys. It's 2024, the year of exposure. Here we are, another well-known artist, I guess you can say. We all know what's happening with Diddy. Every day seems as though the Diddy case is getting bigger and bigger. Like I told you guys in my previous video, Diddy is not going down by himself. That guy is very smart. He created parties with all these celebrities and he recorded a lot of stuff. And after all the evidence comes out, there's a lot more people, famous people, that are going to be brought to the table, right? Right now, I'm going to speak to you guys about another famous singer. His name is Garth Brooks. I'm sure a lot of people know him. He's a industry name, right? Everybody knows who Garth Brooks is. There has been a lawsuit that came out regarding him misbehaving, actually raping somebody. And this happened in 2019. I think everything that's happening with all these musicians, these big celebrities, that we, as the public, we put them in pedestals, right? Without realizing that they're actually just a brand trying to get you to buy what they're selling. Everything that's happening this year, right, is for us to realize that not everything is as it seems, and we need to remember, just because somebody's talented and they acquire a lot of awards and whatever, right? They're also human beings that make mistakes, okay? Let me read to you briefly this article. Former makeup artist of Garth Brooks accused the country music star of sexual assault and battery in a lawsuit that was filed yesterday, October the 3rd, 2024. Garth Brooks is 62 years old, allegedly raped Jane Doe. They're not releasing her name, right? But they're saying she was a makeup artist for him. He raped her in 2019 during a work trip, according to court documents obtained by the media. In the documents, it says that the woman was first hired in 1999 to do makeup and hairstyling for Brooks' wife, Trisha Yearwood. She began working for Brooks doing makeup and hair in 2017, a few years before the alleged events took place. Brooks reportedly filed a lawsuit allegedly attempting to block the makeup artist in pending suit, and it was filed under John Doe. Brooks allegedly denied the woman's claims, so this man knew what was coming. It's so crazy, right? It's about damage control, I guess you can say. He knew, I guess, she notified him that she was going to do the lawsuit, and he tried to block that by also filing another lawsuit under a different name. This is crazy, you guys. And let me tell you something, because a lot of people are going to hear this and they're going to say, everybody's out for money, this and the other. I think, if anything, I'm laughing because it's so crazy how people still don't believe that all these celebrities that we put on pedestals, from what we have seen throughout the year, is that they're not as what they tend to be, right? They usually are portraying this image, this brand, so that you can buy what they're selling. Basically, it's a business, okay? So you always have to remember that. People look at this and be like, it happened in 2019, right? And like I told you guys about people who go through abuse, it could take them years for them to realize, oh, wow, that was abuse. Or they might say, I do remember saying no to this. I remember feeling very uncomfortable when he was in the room. And also there's a lot of guilt, There's a lot of comments, celebrities have their ego inflated. I don't care how many Grammys and awards you might win. You're still a human being, right? And people get their ego inflated and they think, you know, women should be lucky to be with them or something like that, right? I mean, look at Diddy. This man thought that he was untouchable. He got connections with like city officials, politicians, and all of that. He had the money. There's a video of him floating around the internet saying how he gets what he wants. And this man, when Cassie came out in the lawsuit in December last year, he settled within 24 hours and denied all claims. And then the video came out in March of this year. It's like, really, it's not that, that I am so quick to believe immediately when I do understand that some people do lie, but because, it's so crazy. You even thinking about what happened to Bill Cosby, that people were, doing lawsuits about him that of stuff that happened like 20 years ago, right? And now looking at that and knowing that a lot of the victims, they don't, you know, it could take them years to realize what was happening to them. And realizing all the trauma, how affected their lives also. You're like, when you hear how long it takes for them to actually come out and say something against the public figure, I guess you can say, like immediately you want to believe it even more because they have to go through all the trauma to realizing what was happening to them. And also a lot of these victims, please don't forget, they feel so powerless. I mean, these are the people behind closed doors that abuse the victims. They abuse them, right? And they say to them, you don't even have money for a lawyer. There's nothing you can do about it. Just deal with it, right? So a lot of the victims feel so powerless. And then these artists go out and they are celebrated and they're famous and people want their autograph and everybody's taking their photos. And it's like, wow, like I always think about Cassie now because I'm like looking at everything that did it. His name says it, right? He did it. Everything that he has done. This man will show up to red carpets with Cassie filled with makeup, trying to hide that this man was probably beating her up, right? That's insane. This man was beating her up, okay? Depriving her probably of food, right? And he did it to a lot of other women, but Cassie, she was like the official girlfriend. And let's not even talk about Kim Porter, right? The mother of his children, that she actually died. Cassie having to fake it so badly, like you're physically in pain, loaded up with makeup, and now having to walk this red carpet with this man holding this man's hand that basically beat you up, and you have to just fake it for the media. And God forbid you probably he probably threatened her to not even to, God forbid, say something because something's gonna happen to you when we go back to the hotel or something. And now, this man, like when she did the lawsuit denying everything. So yeah, when you see stuff about these celebrities, how can you not believe it right away? Money makes people crazy. Influence makes people crazy. They think that they're untouchable. And they threaten their victims and they think, nothing's going to happen. They always say it's consensual. Because this is the thing. I was just thinking about this now. These celebrities, they, like I said, they have an inflated ego, right? I'm not trying to take away what people do, and like if they win an award or they're good at what they do, the music or whatever, that's different, right? But it's such a bad taste when they can be great artists and then they beat up their, woman, they rape, they do sexual abuse to children. Like it's such a bad taste. It's like you want nothing to do with that person. Such a, as the public looking at it, it's like, oh my goodness, I don't, like, how can you listen to their music again? How can you even think about them again? How can you even see them again? When you know what they do behind closed doors. this is a year of exposure, right? Let me see if I can get more information about the Garth Brooks lawsuit. The makeup artist also accused Brooks of openly talking about sex in front of her, exposing himself and sharing fantasies and texting her messages and physically, touching her. So yeah, there's a lot. Okay, this is why this man tried to stop it, right? Because it's all about, trying to clear your image, a PR thing that you have to, probably be on nervous, right? Um, she's coming out saying, I have text messages, I have photos, I have, probably had witnesses, right? So yeah, how can you not believe her right away? Not only that, but you see the timing, like I said, the timing that passed by, um, is so crazy. That's why you can never say to a victim who's coming out and saying, I was abused, this happened to me, and be like, oh, now you remember 5 years after, now you remember that. It could take so many years for them to realize it was abuse, what happened to them. Let me tell you something, like these people, I think, when it comes to like a hair makeup person, right? They see people like, in vulnerable places they do their makeup, obviously their hair. So what do the people do at beauty salon? They tend to talk a lot, right? So maybe, he got way too comfortable, but you can never forget that this is a business relationship here. You are actually working, regardless of how long you know her. And there's a fine line, right? When you're, let's say you're sitting at a break room at your workplace and you're having conversations, right? And then somebody comes up with some type of comment and you're like, man, this line has just been crossed, and everybody gets silent, right? That awkward moment. And everybody's, oh, you know what? I actually have to go back. My break is over. Like, there is a fine line. There are things that you should never do. But when people have no control of themselves, right? They kind of throw it out there and see how much that person can take. And if nothing is done, then they'll keep doing it and doing it, and then it becomes, like it could become something worse, right? And that's why a lot of these situations happen. But I think that this is a year of exposure, like I told you guys many times. It's only October 3rd, and I'm thinking, when you hear about stuff like that, it's like, man, you feel like you've been lied to. So many artists, right? I really don't know much about Garth Brooks, right? By the way, but there's so many people who are just faking it just to get, to get this career, to get the awards and the accolade from people. And like how tragic it is, right? Like the Bible says, you gain the whole world and you lose your soul. I think that's something that's in the Bible, that's what it's referring to, right? You're like walking around being this big celebrity and everybody loves you and you accomplish so many things. You have your own brand, you're a record producer, own reality show, you're so influential, you go to the Grammys and people, other artists in the industry, yeah, they want to bring you up and say you inspire me, this and the other, and then you go home and you're beating up your girlfriend. That's crazy. Like, I want like, it's such a bad taste to know that this is what's happening. And it's not like it happened like like it was just one case that happened. It's an ongoing thing. Like the Diddy thing is an ongoing thing. So it's just so crazy. But at the same time, I'm happy to see that people are being brave enough. The victims are having this bravery this year to come out and say something. It's not right. Just because they're a celebrity, it's not right for them to treat you like that. I am so happy to see that they're coming out. And whoever is watching this, right? And there's something that you went through, please, I pray that God will give you the bravery to come out and say it. Okay? Thank you so much, everybody, for coming back to my channel. Thank you to everybody who's listening the podcast. Have a good day. God bless.